As Jacinta Allan wakes up to her first morning as Victorian Premier, she faces the sizable task of establishing herself in a role that her predecessor Daniel Andrews made his own for 9 years. In the end, Ms Allan was elected by Labour to the top job unopposed despite a tense 2-hour caucus meeting that saw Minister for Public Transport Ben Carroll briefly put his name into the ring for Premier. Parliament returns on October 3 and Ms Allan has promised to hit the ground running in her new role, pushing many of the same policies promised at the 2022 state election. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than in her first press conference after being elected as Premier. Ms Allan said the government would continue to push ahead with its ambitious plan of building 80,000 homes a year over the next decade, with housing remaining a concern. That is really the number one issue, whether it is in my community of Bendigo East or more broadly around the state. That's the issue that's going to be a big ongoing priority for the government, she said. Ms Allan also took time to acknowledge the First People's Assembly of Victoria, promising to hold conversations regarding treaty. I am absolutely determined to walk with them on the path to treaty. It is a big and important piece of work that we are doing now as a government, she said. The new Premier promised more discussion about her policy priorities in the coming days and weeks, but first faces the task of getting her own cabinet set up. The exact shape of Ms Allan's cabinet is still unknown, but she earmarked that the departure of Daniel Andrews and introduction of MP Vicky Ward to the fold would lead to the reallocation of portfolios. It will be the first ministerial appointment for Ms Ward. Mr Carroll has secured a place for himself as Deputy Premier, despite his leadership challenge angering some in the party. The party showed no signs of internal ructions after the meeting, presenting a united front in support of the new Premier. It's a great team and it's a team that will take us forward, a new chapter in our government, Minister for Energy and Resources Lily D'Ambrosio said. Treasurer Tim Pallas, who lost out on the Deputy Premier position to Mr Carroll, was supportive of the decision despite calling the meeting a humbling experience. Everyone is entitled to ambition, but the party always makes the right decision, he said. Mr Pallas was resolute that he would be producing what would be his 10th budget as treasurer in about 9 months' time. At least initially, Ms Allan has seemed to back the member for Werribee. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than. Tim has been an outstanding treasurer of this state. I would be expecting him to stay on as treasurer, she said. Opposition leader John Pesutto said he was adopting a wait-and-see approach to Ms Allan's premiership, and challenged her to improve transparency with the Victorian public. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than. She can take action on the budget, to open up the books. Let all Victorians see the true state of Victoria's finances, he said. The new Premier needs to outline, so she can get off to a good start, what the true state of the infrastructure portfolio is. What are the current blowouts? Mr Pesutto also called for Ms Allan to put an increased emphasis on integrity and ethics in government, in the wake of several damning reports from the state's anti-corruption watchdog, the United Firefighters Union, who had a rocky relationship with former Premier Daniel Andrews during his time in office, said the election of Ms Allan provided a fresh start. You've got to give everyone a fair go, and to be critical from day one wouldn't be fair to the new Premier, UFU Victorian Branch Secretary Peter Marshall said. Referencing leadership debate on Wednesday, Mr. Marshall said he hoped the factional politics were now ready to be put aside in favor of investment into fire services. The consequences for internal instability is one that has a significant effect on fire services, he said. We'd like to see an investment in fire service. We'd like to see some good faith moves to get out from the ongoing disputation we find ourselves in. New leader, new start.